Hey guys, what's going on? Guess what I'm not going to talk about? The coronavirus. Why? Because every single person on the face of the planet is talking about it. Every single news agency is talking about it. It's the top story of every single category on Google News. Somehow it's such a pandemic that it is the top story in sports, medicine, celebrity, international news, local news, finance, like every single category in Google News, coronavirus is dominating it. So I'm not going to give that stupid piece of crap time of day. Why? Because it is complete fucking overreaction. I'm not going to justify talking about it. Why? Because everyone else is talking about it. There's no point. I'm not going to say anything that anyone else hasn't already said. It's embarrassing to see how my fellow countrymen have absolutely no spine and are cowering because of something that has killed 60 people. Big fucking whoop. It's so fucking pathetic. It just shows how weak and stupid Americans are, how they're brainwashed by the media. And I'm not going to give it the time of day. Talk about something, it was hard to find news that wasn't related to it. But I did find this one story. A 21-year-old Maryland man who was shot and killed by a police officer was asleep in his bedroom when police opened fire from outside his house. An attorney for the 21-year-old man's family said on Friday the man's girlfriend was also wounded. This story flew completely under the radar, one, because it's happening during coronavirus, so it's not 100% because the media suppressed it, but also the other half is because the media suppressed it. It looks bad. It makes red flag laws look bad. It makes gun confiscation look bad. Democrats and media don't want to talk about this because they know this is how, if police go door to door, taking people's guns, which is what they want. That is what they're openly saying. I don't know why they're, again, how many times have you been through this, acting like, oh, they don't want to take your guns. No one wants to take your guns. You, just Google it. This would solve so many people's fucking problems. There are thousands and thousands of Democratic politicians and big, level Democratic donors who literally want police to go door to door and take your guns. That is not exaggeration. That is not a conspiracy theory. That is not some deep web, right-wing talking point, as people try to say. It's all there. And furthermore, millions and millions of Democrats, when polled, say they want police to go door to door and take people's guns. This is not a conspiracy theory. No one is hiding this. I am so sick and tired of Democrats saying, what are you talking about, Robert? That's just a conspiracy theory. You Alex Jones nut. And then I just post like a bajillion thousand sources saying that I'm correct, and they somehow weasel their way out of it and act like it's no big deal. So that's why the media doesn't want to talk about this. Because an innocent 21-year-old man who had a girlfriend, had a future, had no trouble with the law whatsoever. Actually, let me do a caveat on that because I haven't read this thing all the way through. No one in the house that morning had a criminal record. So this was a guy who has literally done nothing wrong, was sleeping in his house with his girlfriend, and the police opened fire from outside, killing him and wounding his girlfriend. But the police, what a surprise, they have a way out. They have a cover story. They have an excuse as to why this was justified. The Montgomery County Police Department said in a news release, Duncan Lemp confronted police and was shot by one of the officers early on Thursday. Wait, so you're saying he confronted the officers who were outside, but he was in his bedroom? The fuck? What, did he menacingly go up to the window and just say, hey, what the fuck? Now, picture this. Just use, Democrats and gun grabbers, just use a nanosecond of thought, please. I know that's really hard for you guys to do. Imagine if you're middle of the night sleeping with your girlfriend. You guys don't have girlfriends. That's right. And you hear, like, someone shouting in flashlights, because SWAT people have flashlights. You hear all this shouting, and then you look out your window, you see people with guns. What is the natural reaction? Now, for a non-pussy, you would grab your gun and shoot. Get the fuck off my property. The police never identify themselves. You just wake up and you see lots of armed people. You can't tell police officers. You can't tell if they're SWAT. It's dark. They're wearing black armor and masks. You have no idea what the fuck is going on. You're half asleep because you just woke up in the middle of the night. What do you expect? What did the SWAT people expect him to do? What do you expect people to do? Now, pussies are going to cower down, but you can still get shot. Who knows what Duncan Lemp did? The girlfriend says he didn't confront them, but even if he did, he would be completely justified, and the shooting would still be wrong even if he did. What do you expect someone to do when a police officer doesn't announce themselves as police officer? There's a lot of them, and they just go upside your house and start shooting. Like, just, what do you expect is going to happen? What is a natural reaction you expect someone to do? But Renee Sadler, an attorney for Lemp's relatives, said an eyewitness gave a complete contrary account of the shooting. She said police could have absolutely no justification for shooting Lemp based on what she heard about the circumstances. The facts, man, I cannot talk. Why do I constantly trip over my fucking words when I read? Because I'm retarded. The facts, as I understand them from eyewitnesses, are incredibly concerning. The warrant police obtained to search the Potomac home Lemp shared with his parents and 19-year-old brother does not mention any imminent threat to law enforcement or the public. Lemp's relatives said in a statement released by their lawyers, no one in the house that morning had a criminal record, the statement added. Any attempt by the police to shift responsibility onto Duncan or his family, who were sleeping when the police fired shots into their home, are not supported by the facts. Police department spokesman could not come up with lies fast enough to these statements and therefore did not immediately respond. The department's news release said tactical unit members were serving a high-risk search warrant. Why? Why was this high risk? Lemp was not a fugitive. He was not a violent criminal. He didn't have any criminal record for that matter, violent or non-violent. He was just minding his own business, sleeping. Why is this a high-risk search warrant? Oh, because he was prohibited from possessing firearms. So why couldn't they just approach him, not in the middle of the night, and just say, hey, you're not allowed to own firearms. Why do you have firearms? Like, this could have been a fine. This could have been like, I don't know, you ran a red light. What, did the police show up in the middle of the night at 3 a.m. and shoot you because you ran a red light? It's like, you ran a red light. No, they send you an email, or they send something in the mail, not an email. That's false. That's a scam. They send you a letter saying you ran a red light. Here's your fine. It's very, very non-confrontational. That's how they handle everything non-confrontational, except for, like, when it's warranted. Like, this is a fugitive running from the law. He has drugs. He has a human shield. He has weapons. He's hurt people before. That's when you attack in the middle of the night with no warning with SWAT teams. Duh. You're going to say, hey, Mr. Rapist Murderer, we're going to arrest you at this time in this place. Please be there on time so we don't have any trouble. No, he's just going to fucking run. Police recovered 3 rifles and 2 handguns. Detectives were following up on complaints from the public that Lemp, though prohibited, was in possession of firearms. So here is the red flag law. Some neighbor, it wasn't his family member, some neighbor, some weasel, some crap weasel, some weasel who was sticking his nose in business where he didn't fucking belong, saw that Lemp had guns. I don't know how he figured out that he wasn't supposed to own firearms. Maybe the neighbor didn't figure that out. Maybe he just complained, my neighbor, he has firearms. And then the police ran the report and figured out, oh, he can't have firearms. For whatever reason, they won't release it. You know, it's not like he was violent at all. Maybe he tried to commit suicide in the past. That's a reason why you can't. Not committing suicide. You were involuntary, put into a mental hospital. But you'd think if that was the case, they would have put in the report. But they didn't. Again, at least, no, it doesn't say why he was prohibited from owning firearms. We'll get into the reasons why some people were concerned that he was owning firearms, but the article says no mention. Well, why? Isn't that kind of weird? Isn't that kind of like oddly, kind of like, what are they trying to hide? Why can't they say, oh, he was violent. Oh, he was in a hospital. It's like, oh, okay, then he can't own firearms, duh. That still doesn't justify going to his house in the middle of the morning and shooting him, but at least I would see as to why the police were like, hey, you can't own firearms. But they don't even give that. Sandler said the family believes police fired gunshots, not a flashbang or other projectile, from outside the home, including through Lemp's bedroom window, while he and his girlfriend were sleeping. No one in the home heard any warnings or commands before police opened fire. There was no warrant or any other justification that allowed for this unless there was an imminent threat, which there was not. The police release said the facts and circumstances of the encounter were still under investigation. Prosecutors from neighboring Howard County will review the evidence at the conclusion of the investigation. Lemp was Caucasian, according to Sandler. She did not know the race of the unidentified police officer involved because the officer was wearing masks. The officer was placed on admin leave, a standard procedure after police shootings. Lemp was a software developer who was trying to raise money for a startup company, according to friends and coworkers. He was a talented, smart guy, super nice, didn't deserve to get shot, said Samuel Reed, whose Canadian software company employed Lemp as an independent contractor. Then it goes into Lemp was a libertarian who posted militia memes on Reddit and stuff. He was referring to the 3%ers a wing of the militia movement. The group's logo, the Roman numeral 3, has been popular with anti-government extremists. Well, they're not really extremists if you're anti-government. First of all, being anti-government is not extreme at all. The government is completely horrendous. Our government is an absolute atrocity, an embarrassment to this country. And being anti-government is not extreme. And the fact that the government is passing all this red flag legislation and gun confiscation and everything that Maryland has already done and lots of states already done or already trying, that's not extreme to oppose those policies. But wait, that's the reason why the media and Democrats are pushing this narrative. They're trying to push the narrative that if you're anti-government, if you're pro-gun, if you're pro-Second Amendment, if you're pro-militia, that means you're an extremist, and that justifies taking away your guns and all your rights. Because they're extremists, they're terrorists. They're the American Taliban, as we're called a lot. So that justifies doing everything and anything to them, including shooting them outside their house at 3 a.m.
Oh boy, 3 a.m.
This is how they demonize opposition. There is no such thing in their eyes as any legit contrarian to their views of gun confiscation, anti-Second Amendment, anti-militia. You're either with them and that means you're progressive and you're not racist and you care about children getting shot, or you're an extremist, terrorist, white supremacist. There is no in between with them. That's how they demonize anyone who stands up to the government, anyone who stands up for gun rights, anyone who just posts memes on 4chan that are pro-Second Amendment, pro-militia. Being a militia is not extremist. What's funny is that Democrats constantly say, whenever they try to get rid of the Second Amendment, it's like, oh, it's not talking about the people owning guns. It's talking about militias owning guns. Well, first of all, militias are made out of people, so I don't know how you're just going to figure that fucking one out. But second of all, so that means you're okay with militias. Oh, no, actually, we think militias are extremist terrorists and they should be disbanded. Oh, so you don't actually think Second Amendment applies to anyone. Doesn't apply to people, doesn't apply to militias because you don't think militias should exist. Oh, wow, what a coincidence. Wow, I didn't see that one coming, man. Wow. Yeah, it's not like we've been calling that out for decades and decades. No. On his Instagram account, Lemp recently posted a photograph depicting 2 people holding up rifles. It included the term boogaloo, a slang used by militia members and other extremists to describe a future civil war in the U.S. Friends say they never heard Lemp espouse any anti-government rhetoric. He wasn't any part of any anti-government militia group. He was just pro-American who supported the protection of the Constitution. So this guy wasn't even a militia member that we know of. He just posted memes that were pro-Constitution, pro-America, pro-Second Amendment, pro-gun. And that's how the media is trying to justify him getting shot. He's not a violent criminal. He's not a criminal of any kind, so they can't pin him on that. They mention he's Caucasian. Oh, so he's a white supremacist. He posted white supremacist memes. He posted anti-government memes. So that means he was dangerous. Yeah, he wasn't. That's what the imminent threat was. It wasn't that he was actually violent towards anyone. No, he was an extremist though, and therefore he's an imminent threat. So that means the police are justified. That's how the police are going to spin this. That's how the prosecutors are going to defend it. Sorry, if the family press charges, the defendants are going to be the police department. That's how they're going to spin this. And that's how it's being spun every single time. Every single time the red flag laws are implemented in this country, that's how it goes down. They demonize us gun owners. They demonize militia people or pro-militia people. They demonize all of us under whatever blanket term they feel is best to justify to the public why we murdered them, why we took away their property, etc., etc. This is what they do. They come after us one at a time because they know however many officers, I don't know how many it was, you know it's like 5 or 6 or 10. It's not just one officer. Yeah, 10 SWAT guys can take on one pro-gun person asleep in his home, not ready to defend himself. They go after us one by one because that's the only way these cowards know how to fucking fight. Notice how if they won't take us on 10 on 10. They won't take us on 5 on 10, or the people owning guns way outnumber the police and National Guard in this country by 10 or 101. It's not even fucking close. They won't face us in open battle. No, they're scared little fucking pussies, so they shoot people in dead of night in their homes. That's what the government cowards do. Sandler says Lemp's family was traumatized. Their statement said they intended to hold each and every person responsible for his death. We believe the body cam footage and other forensic evidence for this event will support that Duncan's family already knows that he was murdered. So I'm going to follow this story and we'll see what developments come forth. But, you know, the best case for Duncan's family is that they're just going to get a huge buyout. The government's just going to say, yeah, we fucked up. Here's millions of dollars. Sorry for your loss. Good day. Nothing they can do can replace Lemp's life. Now, the best thing they should do is, hey, these red flag laws are tyrannical as fuck. They are anti-American as fuck. They are anti-Second Amendment as fuck. And they lead to innocent people's lives being killed. Let's get rid of this program. Let's not be fascist. Let's not be tyrannical and get rid of this whole program and let people own guns and let them live their own lives. That would be the best case. But you know Maryland fascists are never going to do that. You know Democrats are never going to do that. You know Democrats in none of these states that they're implementing these laws, they're never going to do that because they believe they're morally right. They are never going to admit to being wrong. Whatever justification they need to take away guns, they will put it through the media. And then this is going to happen again and again. Because the media and the sheeple populace accepts it. Oh, they killed a terrorist. They killed an extremist. He was posting memes about the government and civil war online. Yeah, they had to take him out. They couldn't have approached him civilly in the middle of the day or with a notice saying you're not allowed to own guns. No, they had to come up to him, shoot him, and wound his girlfriend. And that's how they're going to justify all this crap against us gun owners or pro-militia people. This is what's coming to every single state that is implementing red flag laws. This is going to happen to potentially anyone who owns a gun. It's going to happen to your neighbors who own guns. It's going to keep happening and happening and happening until we put our foot down and say enough is enough. Keep our hands off our property, keep our hands off our rights, and leave us the fuck alone.